Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Alan.
Mark. And we've just finished playing Noria, which has some beautiful art, and there's a beautiful board here, which is some kind of flying island in the sky with a castle on top, I think. Not quite sure what the theme is, but essentially you're just trying to get lots of points. And the scoring is very important in terms of how you score in this round, so let me quickly explain how that works. There are a bunch of different types of resources. There are kind of basic resources and sort of more sophisticated resources, and essentially you're trying to cash in resources to move your trackers up these various tracks. So if you spend 2 black resources, you kind of get your tracker initially on the board, and then it'd be 2 more resources to get to there, then it'd be 4, then 4, etc. You've got the pink and the green ones up there, and then the various sort of more advanced ones which are harder to get, and that's why you don't need as many of them, but you're trying to move up on those tracks. In terms of how many points you get though, the key thing is the thing at the bottom. Now to start with, you have, if I grab a couple more cubes, these cubes are all kind of sitting above the line. So however high you are on this track, it's actually worth nothing to start with, but you can, as an action, as you go through the game, you can move one of these cubes down, and now, wherever you are, is worth that level. So you can see my yellow one was up at level 5, is worth 2 times 5, i.e. 10 points. But if I manage to push this one down, now it's worth 4 times 5, which is 20 points. So you're kind of trying to push these down. However, when you push one down, you also take another one, so maybe this row, before they got pushed down, you take another one that hasn't been pushed down right from the far right, and you throw it away, which is going to limit how much someone could score for this particular section here. So although I was trying to push these down, other people were trying to throw them away because I was quite high on this track. They were trying to stop me from scoring. So you're getting the points according to the 4 tracks. This track is for your highest piece in total on any of those tracks, and this is actually for your lowest piece on the tracks. So it's some interesting scoring there, but essentially you're doing it by getting resources and cashing in them to move up on the tracks. In terms of how you play the game, it all revolves around this interesting wheel. Now, the bottom half of this wheel is the area where you can actually take actions, and you can only use sort of 3 of these discs. You have to use 1 from the center disc, 1 from the middle disc, and 1 from the outer disc each time. So I might decide to do this one, and then you have to do one of the kind of connected ones off the middle one. So I could do this one next, and then the middle one. And a lot of these just get you basic resources. I should say at the beginning of the game, most of these spots are actually empty and don't have any tokens in. And one of the actions, in fact, the hammer here, lets you buy, sorry, it's not the hammer, this one here, the building thing, lets you acquire more tokens. So one of the things you're doing as you go through the game is spending resources to get more of these tokens added onto your wheel. Because at the end of each round, each of these things is going to move kind of 1 space round, and so different things are going to fall into place because you can only activate the one to the bottom. But if I do this, the black ones get me the black resources, and the pink ones get me the pink resources. This is an upgrade. At the start of the game, most of when they come onto your board, the resources are this way around, so that would get me 1 black effectively. But if I turn it over and upgrade it using this action, now I'm going to get 2 blacks each time. However, there's also, as you can see, these kind of tiles around here. One of the actions, the blue one, lets you move your token on these tiles. So if I move to this tile here, I can acquire, by spending resources again, one of these things, which kind of multiplies how many resources I'm getting. So now, every time I trigger one of these pink resource things, I'm actually going to get 4 pinks. So you're trying to improve your engine, if you like, to get more multipliers, to get lots of resources all at once. Another couple of things then, you can put factories down, which is how you acquire the more advanced goods. They kind of go on this side, and then you have to cash in the basic goods to sort of convert these into the more advanced goods. So there's that. And one final thing I'll just mention is, you can also get cogs. By putting these factories out on these boards here, it unlocks cogs, which you get as income at the start of each round, and you can spend the cogs to manipulate various things. So for example, you could swap 2 positions. If you've got a blank space coming around, you could maybe swap something into a blank space. You can also spend it to move one of your wheels an extra space. That each wheel, the center, middle, and out, will move 1 space each round, but you could move it an extra space. Or, crucially, you can spend the cogs to do the whole cube pushing down thing. So that's going to be quite important. So you're trying to acquire more of these, basically to get lots of resources, and then you spend the resources, as I say, to cash in for the points, and whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. What do we think?
It's an okay game. Like I say, it's got, like you were saying, it's got a pretty artwork on it. The mechanics seem easy enough to figure out. I think it's, with a few more players, I might be able to show you understand a bit more what's going on, but I think it's quite an interesting game, so I enjoy it.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, it's definitely fairly intense. Certainly as a to teach, it's quite intense, and to play, it's very intense. A lot of thinking about how to manipulate the wheels and stuff. The wheel game is the strongest bit, and it's quite fun. The setup of the wheel at the start, if you do actually build your own, is quite difficult to work out, and that takes a little while, or you can use the standard setup one. Also, the moving of the scoring, so you see what someone else is doing, so you try and limit what they can score, is quite nice. It's an interactive sort of way of meaning that it's not just entirely solitaire. My biggest issue is that it does just feel like I'm either gaining standard resources or converting standard resources into better resources, then to convert into points. The theme is non-existent. It's got a theme, but it means nothing. It is literally a cube pushing, cube converting game, and that's it. There is nothing more on this other than the wheel game, I guess.
Rating?
I think I would give it a 6.5.
Okay. Alan?
I'm about at 5. Sleep about 5 on this one.
Okay. I really enjoyed it, actually. Mark's right. The theme is not connected to what you're doing at all. You are just sort of churning resources. But I liked the engine building thing. And it's tricky because you want to get those multipliers. So when you're gaining the resources, you want to kind of get lots of resources at once. But you also need those cogs, because the cogs, in terms of the scoring thing, being able to push the cubes down for the scoring tracks makes a huge difference. You know, you might get quite high up on some tracks, but if other people have been knocking those cubes off, then you're not going to score very many points for it. So it's quite tricky in terms of how you pitch it, that you're kind of racing for 3 or 4 different things really all at once, and knowing quite how to build your engine to best make use of that is, I thought it was interesting, making those kind of decisions. And as Mark says, the wheel, trying to decide which tokens to put in the wheel when you buy them, where to place them. It's quite heady, there's a lot to think about there, and I found I was fully engaged all the way through. I'd happily play this a bunch of times. I'd be on a 7.5, I think. Alright, thanks for watching. That was Noria.